you're going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin. But I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and approaches dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, that Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well. Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third. Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just like dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment.
So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Does he have it? Is going to get it. Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line, though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now, though, for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome to Sunday night. And Sunday night only means one night. It's the iGPFun F3 League Round 3 Season 2 of 2023 live from Catalunya Historic. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth once more here this evening by Mr. Ewan O'Leary. And we are at the historic circuit of Catalunya. Track length 4.68 kilometers in length with 13 corners here as well. We can have a quick look at the current top 30 in the championship standings. It is Gianfranco Bagotto who's not here this evening on 86 points out in front. Kenzie Neuhoff on second on 80. Jakob Oleszwinski on 79 in third. And Ying She Lin on 72. Connor Gibb on 71. Chop Morrow on 70. Adam Talmsma on 67. Marcis Putnieks on 66. Andy Flint on 58, tied with Marek Otlov's Antonio Jimenez in 12th on 55. He is tied with Koji Ito. Leonard Cherry on 53 and Zoltan Samota is there as well in 15th. Then beyond that we go as well into 16th is Vyacheslav Ponopenko, Rino Scatini, Louis Gregg, Luca Varani, Pedro Suarez, Christian Glamsey, Dorian Oreo, Clark Williams and Giuseppe Deodoni there in. He is currently down in 24th place. And in 25th is Stephen Ridders, Samuel Herman, Matthew Brewer, Alvin Chian, Max Bartolotta, and Jacques Williams squeezes in to the top 30 as well. Interesting thing to note as well, the purple zone will stretch right the way out till turn 9. Now, if you're wondering where turn 9 is, it is round about where Robert Ridgway in the number 14 car has just passed there as well. So be aware that turn 9 is a long old time. Now, we did figure out why that was, and there seems there was an issue with overtakes into the hairpin at turn 5 and at turn 7 and 8. So they've extended it to turn 9 here. Penalties to make a note of currently at the moment is Max Bartolotta has to skip qualifying here this evening as well for causing an incident on lap 1 last week at VIR and at Road America. Now, he's also been put on probation as well for the remainder of the season, so he will be kept a close eye on here once more as well. But let's bring in Ewan, as you have listened to me talk for a while here. Good evening, Mr. O'Leary. How are you?
Good evening. Doing well and looking forward to another race, another round of this series. And what I've got to say is, first of all, straight off the bat, from what we've been watching here in the qualifying session, it's been a great battle between Diadoni and Aberdeen at the front of the field. It looks like Diadoni is going to take pole position here with only 30 seconds remaining now, but this is a very, very close session indeed, and a great circuit as well. There's a view of it from up above. A great circuit to drive on your own, I've got to say. Flowing and fast it is these days, with the adjustments made in the final sector to bring it how it used to be, and bring that back safely as well, which is a good thing. But in terms of overtaking, it's not quite as good. This circuit, very, very difficult to manage, although we have seen VIR last week provide its fair share of action, and that circuit also is occasionally criticised for its lack of overtaking opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things here with Catalunya that causes a problem as well, is sometimes they do turn around and say that the racing's not great, it can be a bit boring. I don't think it's going to be boring here today. We've got 44 cars on track, right? And I've got this funny feeling that there is going to be some absolutely epic racing here as well, because obviously at the end of the day, you know, it's this F3 IGB F3 league. We see overtaking every single week. You know, we've got 30 laps of action here as well this evening. And again, I think it's just going to be one of them things that I think certain cars or certain series suit the track, certain series don't suit the track. And at the end of the day, if these guys can obviously get to grips with the circuit, you know, we've got the extension out at turn 10 when we take the long right-hander. We've got the straight run from 11, 12 and 13. There's no chicane sitting in there as well before they run down into turn 1. You know, I think there's a lot of opportunity here for these guys, and if they can get the swing coming out of Repsol out of 4, they can still make the move out of turn 5. Now, obviously, we've not got that on the first lap, as we see Manuel Vargas from the Agro CG Racing team go off there as well in the last corner. But I think they will be able to do it as the race goes on. I think that's one of the things that we will have to look out for. Track temperature at the moment, 26 degrees centigrade. So not massively hot for these guys. So hopefully they should be all good and up and coming here as well. Situation with Max Bartolotta, you heard it at the beginning there, Ewan. He's got to come through from 43rd place. You know, that's going to be a challenge in its own right.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think the objective for him today has to be stay out of trouble. Make sure you don't get any more targets on your back in that respect, because that will start to add up with race control, and they certainly won't forget about that. And also, he's going to gain positions that way if he stays out of trouble. So it's a very good way of gaining places in this race. I mean, I can see him gaining more than 20 today, getting inside the top 20, and he'll gain a lot of points from that. He'll you know, be away from race control for a week. He'll gain some confidence from it as well, and I think it'll be a good thing generally for him to do that. So I think that has to be his main objective, just staying out of trouble over the course of today's race.
Yeah, definitely. Here is the grid, guys, as well. Giuseppe Diadoni in first, Lee Aberdeen in second, Luca Varani in third, Tony Jimenez fourth, Nicholas Westman in fifth, Evan Way sixth, Jerome Lamy in seventh, Will McIntyre-Jones in eighth, Andy Flint ninth, Clark Williams 10th, Samuel Hermer down in 11th with Pedro Suarez is in 12th place. Then beyond from that, we've got Philip Lucas, Robert Ridgway, Jacobo Lezwinski, Emmanuel Vargas, Ryan Berry, Christian Glamsey, Chuck Morrow and Marcis Putnieks round out the top 20. Then we've got Dennis Cornu in 21st, Stuart Milne, Jacques Willems and Leonard Cherry behind that. Marek Otlev starts in 25th with Marcello Kessler in 26th, Koji Ito, John McKenzie, Nick Carty and Vyacheslav Potapenko rounding out the top 30. Then we've got Louis Gregg, Michael LeMay, Garrett Spence, Reed Dennis, Alistair A and Paolo Brem are your 30 to 36. Rena Scattini in 37th, Patrick Rowland 38th, Alex Hopkins, Arturo Mayorga, Dorian Oreo, Maximilian Gebhardt, Max Bartolotta, and Fede Rossano is down in 44th. The final car on track there as well. And once more, it is going to be a tough one here. What do we think this is going to be like? Because at the end of the day, you know, it's Catalunya, right? It's a circuit that people will either love or hate here, Ewan. So what do we think is going to happen?
Well, I don't think a lot's going to happen on the opening lap, I've got to say. It's going to be very, very orderly because of the purple zone we have for such a long time. But after that, we are going to see a real struggle to overtake, I think. It's the characteristic of this circuit where it's really not that easy at all. You've got to try and work your way through the best you can, but with all the will in the world, you won't be able to on occasion. It will be about staying patient when you're in behind someone like that and making sure you don't miss any opportunities because they won't come around very often.
Yeah, that is also true as well. You've got to take the hand that's been given to you, and once more, the lights are going to be on. We are going to be on that relaxed start right the way round to turn 9. The cars will be up and underway. I think Rossano has kind of forgotten where he should be at the moment as he's going whizzing down on the right-hand side currently at the moment here as well, and it's very orderly, too wide down through turn 1. The racing doesn't start really until turn 9. Deodoni's got to make the most of this here. He's got to get ready to go with single file through turn 3 and 4 as well. Max Bartolotta is up 7 places here. I'm not entirely sure if he's got the memo currently either that may have involved the fact that they shouldn't be overtaking round to about turn 9. We did say about staying out of race control's eyes here, Ewan, but he seems to be going a good way of getting into it.
Yeah, we'll see what they say about it. It's very much a play-by-ear kind of thing because in terms of overtaking, you obviously can't make any dives and lunges and things, and he isn't there, as you can see, watching the 2 cars going in front of him. But after that is, you know, it's just about staying in line and making sure that you don't anger race control. Now that they'll be all sorted out, now they'll be racing properly, but they won't have a chance in towards turn 10. This is why I mentioned earlier there won't be any positional changes really on lap 1, and you can see why, because the field already fairly stretched out, because while you can't overtake through the opening 9 corners, you can still go for it, and you can still very much race, but it's not going to be possible to overtake for the top 10 or so. They'll stay where they are, and they'll really be racing after.
Yeah, they will. We're coming down the start-finish straight here as well. That is where the race with Deodoni will kick off once more. It's really kind of lap 2 will be up and running. Deodoni from Aberdeen, from Varani, from Jimenez, from Westman, from Way, from Lamy. That is currently your top 7 here as these guys battle it out once more on this Catalunya circuit with myself, James Parfitt, and Ewan O'Leary up in the booth. Jerome Lamy is in stationary as well. The top 9 have not moved here as well, and it looks like Oleswinski is into the barrier. Jakub Oleswinski has put himself into the barrier, and we will have a look back and see how he ended up going back there as well. Was it all on his own as he's going round here as well, or was he... Ooh, he got touched, didn't he? I wonder who it was by. 22 there as well. That's Manuel Vargas. But Oleswinski went up the inside and unfortunately touched Oleswinski, and Oleswinski went round and is now down basically. Well, Rosano's out, full stop already, and Jakub Oleswinski is down the order currently at the moment here as well. He's down in 40th place, but it is Deodoni running away out in front. He's got about a second gap over Lee Aberdeen, who's opened up half a second over Luca Varani, down in 20th and 21st. Here's that mid-pack battle that we get so used to, currently led by Christian Glamseater at the moment, with Vargas, Moro, Berry, Putnieks, Cornu, Milne, all behind him currently at the moment.
Yeah, it's what we see really in the mid-pack, and it's sometimes more exciting than the battle for the lead. There's a real fight here with Glamseater chasing or making everybody chase him across the road. That's Vargas on the outside, who got caught up with Oleswinski not so long ago. Side by side to turn 1, all you have to do on the inside there is be late on the brakes, and with more commitment, Glamseater was able to hold on to that place ahead of Vargas. So a bit of a group is forming now. This is exactly what I said earlier on about it being difficult to overtake. This is the kind of racing that results from it. You get lots of trains. We got one from the lead pretty much, and we've got one from 15th as well, as we're seeing.
Yeah, we definitely have here as well, and hopefully they will be up and running. And I think that's the only thing with Catalunya that drives me crazy. I love the circuit, but it's just such a flowing circuit that all of a sudden the stops that you would normally see, like down here with McIntyre Jones, who's having a go at Lamy at the moment, down into turn 10, even that kind of gets taken away with the flowing left-hander rather than the stop and the turn left that's traditionally there. You know, and that's the thing. It's not a circuit loved at times by sort of real passionate racers, because we want to see these guys go for it, and they just can't seem to make any difference on the people in front. You know, the top 9 have not even swapped places. They have there because somebody was on the grass, unfortunately, but it looked like Varani was off and Westman was off as well. But it's such a difficult circuit. Varani's just about to lose a place to Jimenez there as well. Evan Way is on the inside currently round in turn 1. He's going to run Westman round the outside. He's going to have the inside next time for turn 3. They do make it through. Oh, Mr. O'Leary's in the background giving me noises. He's all I can hear as they're battling out here once more, and that was a close one.
Oh yeah, it's all getting very close. So yeah, I mean, a few people running wide, especially out of the final turn, and that really set the cat amongst the pigeons, really. And then there was a little bit more close racing through turn 3 as well. But they've sorted themselves out, as you'd expect, through the middle part of the lap. And then it'll all kick off again towards the end. But yeah, if I was to make one change to this circuit now, it would be to add that slightly tighter hairpin at turn 10. I know it doesn't make the circuit flow very well at all, but I would add it in there because you would get a better overtaking opportunity. This braking zone is no longer very long, and it was one of the best overtaking opportunities, but now it's nearly impossible to make a move there. Everybody ends up waiting for turn 1, and then you get the situation like we just saw in the first sector with a lot of close racing through turns 2 and 3 as well. But we'll watch out for the outside of this final corner now, because I saw everyone getting really close to disaster on the exit of this turn last lap.
Yeah, Evan Way manages to make it through without any issues once more, and all the drivers behind him do as well. Don't forget, in the current 2.5K, it is Rino Scattini who is leading that one. This guy is currently down in 37th place at the moment. Dorian Oreo and Louis Gregg are in front, behind him, and Gregg is all the way up in 28th place currently at the moment. Oreo not so much. Oreo is down in 39th here, but it is currently Scattini who is out in front of that one, so that's going to be an interesting one. We'll keep an eye on that one as Louis Gregg does kind of make his way. He's kind of taken the bull by the horns on this one, and he's up 28 into 28th, up 3. I'll be interested to see what happens with Bartolotta. The fact that he made 7 places on that opening lap within that purple zone. Now, it does say no active overtakes until after turn 9. Are we giving Bartolotta the benefit of the doubt and saying he didn't purposely go for the overtakes? Because isn't an active overtake one where you go past another car regardless?
Well, the keyword's active there and not overtake. So it's actively looking for moves, not in your line. If you think about NASCAR racing and oval racing, where you line up in a line inside and outside, that's effectively what you've got in some ways here in the purple zone, as Bartolotta makes a nice pass down on green there.
Greg.
Greg, sorry. Louis Gregg there into 28th place, as Jerome Lamy has just found himself off the road at the final couple of corners. But it's looking for those moves. If you're in your line, if you're in your lane and people are going off, that applies to anyone, but if the other lane is just slower than yours, then you are allowed to gain a position as a result of that. Now, 7 does seem like a lot to have gained, to be fair, for someone who's not been making active overtakes, but it's possible. You see it in officials racing, especially when you're as bad of a driver as me, and you're finding yourself in low splits. If you do a double foul start on any form of racing, whether it's a rolling start in road racing or over racing, one of the lanes is significantly slower than the other for whatever reason. And that could very well be the case here, because everyone's side by side at the start. If one of the lanes is slower than the other, then you can gain a lot of places without actually realising you've done it sometimes.
Isn't he then, because it's an odd number, isn't it? 7. If he's on 18th, he's got to go past 19th, he's got to go past 20th, 21st. I find that, I don't know. I just find it weird that he's got up so many. Sorry, but it's a bit strange.
Yeah. So many, correct. I mean, that's slightly bizarre. The fact it's an odd number doesn't really matter, because if you think about it, he's not overtaking whole rows at a time in 2s. He's overtaking 1s on the other row. He's part of the opposite row in this analogy that I've made up in my head. So it does seem like a lot. We'll see what the stewards say afterwards, but I somewhat think a driver of his ability wouldn't have done it if it was illegal or if he knew it wasn't going to be in the rules, so I don't know. Oh dear.
I'm not quite sure what Vargas was up to there. He just pulled over and then calls it a day. So there we go. We have got a battle here with Samuel Herma. He is battling currently at the moment with Pedro Suarez as one of them goes up and blinks there as well. Jerome Lamy is battling away here as well as these guys on the run out of turn 3 down into turn 4. Is Lamy going to be looking up the inside? That's going to be the interesting thing. There is Suarez there. We've got Lamy on board with Lamy now with Suarez and Herma in front of us as well as we're going down through turn 5. Again, no real moves. Oh, Lamy's onto the little Kittle on the outside. He goes instantly defensive because Clark Williams is behind him as well. Williams is trying to have a good old go and catching up to this trio. A nice little battle developing here between obviously these guys currently at the moment, 9th, 10th and 11th, with Lamy of course been onto the gravel out of turn, which was basically the last turn out of turn 13, and lost a couple of positions there as well. So it's going to be interesting with these guys because obviously Lamy, Herma and Suarez are all very quick drivers.
They certainly are, and it's producing a good battle at the moment, but I'll repeat myself again. This is exactly what you expect from Catalunya. It produces this type of racing exactly. We've got effectively Samuel Herma at the front here and Christian Consichter at the back of this 7-car group even, fighting for 9th place at the moment, but overtakes are hard to come by, especially when Samuel Herma is weaving around like he is at the moment. He's just blocking the slipstream. That means that even Lamy with a double slipstream there can't even do anything into turn 1.
Yeah, no, it's just unfortunate there. Obviously, with the way the draft works, it was never going to be able to get it. Lamy had that double, and he still wasn't going to be able to make it through. And he's now trying to go up the inside here as well into turn 4. Is he going to be able to make this stand? He is round Suarez at the end of the day, and he has got through. So Lamy there does go up into 10th place. Suarez down into 11th. Suarez looking at trying to come back on the inside of 5 here, and he doesn't make it through this time either. So Suarez is now behind Lamy once more, and unfortunately for him is no going on there as well. It's still dead only out in front by Aberdeen through 8 attempts. He's got a 1.4 second gap over Jimenez. Evan Way is closest to them. He's got about just over 6 attempts to the guys in front, with Westman 3 attempts behind that as well. But Leonard Cherry is down here in 21st. He's having a good old battle with Stuart Milne and Jack Williams, who has promised me that he will be back to his normal racing self this week, after obviously I think he brought up the fact that I may have said that it just wasn't the Williams that we've used to seeing last week. So he did say he'll be back to his normal racing self this week.
Well, yeah, that's all good to see. I mean, not good to hear that we've been criticising people, to be fair, but we do that sometimes. So fair enough. But yeah, hopefully that remains to be the case, and will be the case over the course of this race. Another train on your screens here from effectively 17th on backwards, but this is Sherry trying to get into 20th place as a Stuart Milne, and it's not brave enough on the brakes, I don't think, from Sherry. Oh no! Contact! Just needed to be a bit more committed and get further alongside there so that he could actually make the place, but slight bit of contact, a little bit unlucky to be sent off the road as a result, but I don't think Stuart Milne did anything wrong at all. That's just a mistake from Jerry. He's going to have to pick himself up from.
Yeah, I think that is as well. Williams is now going to have a go round the inside of Milne here as well. Williams has got the outside. He's going to run round and try and get round the outside now of turn 5 currently at the moment before they go on that run through turn 6 into 7. Milne still on our inside. Milne's going to take it. Williams is going to slot in behind him. Now we're going to run off up into turn 9. The fast right-hander. You're going to get a little lift, point the car, and away you go. And now on down to turn 10 as well. Can Willem make the most of this with Milne? He's got Otlovs, Kessler, Bertilla all behind him as well. And Bertilla now trying to go up the inside of Kessler. That would be a brave move if he can make that one stick. He didn't make it stick this time around. But this train here, starting with Stuart Milne, the Scotsman is definitely under pressure at the moment.
Certainly is, and it's going to be a big problem for him as well, holding on to this 20th position. He's got Williams, Otlovs, Kessler, Bertilla all right in behind, all 4 of them wanting to go through at the moment, and Bertilla is actually looking the most threatening of everybody here. He's right on the back of Kessler, although with a triple slipstream in front, Kessler's not finding this defence too difficult. Now Bertilla will head to the inside. Williams will as well, but that's too late on the brakes. Bertilla does make it through, though. He's up a place into 23rd now.
Yeah, definitely does there as well. Bertilla is through, but up here as well we've got Pedro Suarez, who has now got Clark Williams behind him as well. Williams having a good old fight and trying to get through here on to Suarez. He's trying to make that move through. Lamy is making it into 10th at the moment as well. And now here we go. Williams is right on the back of Suarez. He's got to be looking, if he can, try and stay a little bit closer to him. Down into turn 10 currently at the moment we go. Rushing through once more. Is he going to be able to make it? That's going to be the question. I don't think he's going to be able to make it this time around, and he's not. But further up in front of them, we've got Lamy having a go at Herman now as well. And Bertilla is down in 22nd and is still fighting out with Alistair Hay, who's just managed to go and unfortunately make an incident and has put himself into the pits there as well. So unfortunately Alistair Hay looks like he's had a bit of an issue on lap 10 once more here as well. So let's see how this one all pans out. Leonard Cherry and Koji Ito have had a common together, I think, as well. Cherry is off, unfortunately for them. I wonder if that is basically together. There is Ito. I'm wondering if that's Cherry coming in behind him. Has Ito made it round? He did. What was it? Oh, they both did it together.
Oh, wow. Wow. Like, that is something you don't see very often. Oh, and very nearly they hit each other as well. That is one of the most bizarre coincidences we'll ever see, I think, in this series, because one car went around on its own entirely, another following in sympathy with remarkable synchronicity there. That was Sherry parked up, was it, at the exit of pit lane? Wonder whether one of them's thrown in the towel after that, but yeah, wow, I've not seen anything like that for quite a while.
No, definitely not. Spinning together, pirouetting all at the same time. You don't want to make your mate feel lonely, so you might as well go and join him, I guess. As we're looking at Suarez with Williams once more. This battle still hasn't stopped. Down with Stuart Milne. He's still got Kessler and now Otlovs as well, and there is Milne. You can see Otlovs right in front of us. Milne's had to lift a little bit more than Otlovs did. Is he going to be able to make this run down into 10? We've got Bertilla having a go once more at currently Zach Williams. Is Williams going to be able to run him around the outside? He tries to keep his nose in front. I think Bertilla is just too quick. He opens up the steering, just misses it. Behind that as well, Otlovs and Milne and Kessler, they almost make come to contact once more.
Aggressive from Bertilla there, but that was a fantastic pass on Williams to get up into 20th place. I said he might be able to get inside the top 20. I have to say, I didn't expect to see him do it after only a third of the race distance, but he has done. And he might well be able to go for even more as well, as Moses Putniks is on the real defensive here from Berry and Cornu, but he's not been able to haul off either of them.
No, he just lost 2 places there. Oh, that was somebody off the side there. That was Berry. Was off in turn 1, wasn't he?
Yeah, so it was. So I thought he was one of those going through Putniks, but he was, and he just dropped it immediately. So got excited at the prospect of the place he just gained, and immediately lost it. Unfortunately, these cars are showing themselves to be quite slippery on the traction, and even though this circuit's a high speed to medium speed kind of circuit, There are still traction zones where you can still drop it.
Yeah, they definitely can there as well. The track temps is 28 degrees currently at the moment, so it's still not bakingly hot. But it's still, well, I don't think it's going to be, it shouldn't cause these guys too much trouble on lap 12, should it? I was thinking 20 maybe, but not lap 12.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a factor just yet. I think it just is a factor, even if you're on a qualifying lap. It's something you still have to focus on as well. It's one of those things that, of course, is only going to get worse as the race goes on, as you say, but I think it was even a problem in qualifying. You've got to be really smooth with the power application, and if you're not, we've seen the consequences of that already in this race. But it's not a tyre wear thing in my mind, because it's happening so early.
Yeah.
As you say, or a temperature thing, I guess, maybe. But even so, I would be surprised if that were to be the case. Drivers have just got to be careful. They've got to be smooth getting on the power out these traction zones.
Yeah, they definitely have. Luca Varani battling away with Evan Way here again. Don't seem to be able to make any real major gains. Varani's down one. He lost a place to Jimenez. Evan Way's up one. Westman's down one. And Andy Flint, of course, who is currently leading the team. Champions the Scudiera Hydroforce Racing Forces Formula Sim Racing Team by iRace. As I can breathe now after that very long team name as well. So Andy Flint is currently sitting in 7th at the moment, and we'll look at getting points on the board for that team. They are quite spread out across the front now as well. Glamseater, however, is battling away with Robert Ridgway here, and Gareth Spence just looked like he's had a moment as well. So unfortunately for his Spence, he is currently off track, and we're only on lap 13. So let's see how these guys get on here once more. And it looks very, it's just very, I want to say samey, lap after lap. You know, we're not seeing so many positional changes. Yes, we've seen some, but that's due to a mistake or there's been contact or whatever. But racing wise, you can see it here with Glamseater. He just can't seem to get near Ridgway on a straight that you would think you would be able to use the draft on, right? Because it's such a long straight down that front stretch.
There's a lot of things that have to go right for you to make an overtake around this circuit, and at the moment the things aren't falling into place for Glamseater, unfortunately. You've got to have the run out of the corner, you've got to have good straight line speed as well, and that's not easy to come by around a circuit where you would traditionally pile the downforce on. But yeah, at the moment it's not happening for Glamseater. There were a few changes here between them a lap or two ago. I saw them flipping around a little bit. I don't know whether that was just an attempt at a move or an actual one. But Philip Lucas is here as well, and Ridgway's not actually that far away from Pedro Suarez, who's outside the top 10 at the moment, which is maybe a little bit lower than you expect to see him, but it's still an alright place to be for him. But yeah, in terms of battles for top 10 positions, we're not really seeing any, and yeah, it does feel somewhat samey in some of the battles, and that's what you get around this circuit on occasion. You've got to be patient, you've got to wait for your chance, and you can't afford to just let it go by either.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they're going to have to try and sit and wait for. I think, you know, we're only on lap 14. We're just coming up to halfway through. So we're towards the end is generally where we see probably a lot more as tyres make mistakes. It looks like Berry's made another one, unfortunately for him, and is now off track. Evan Way's going to have a go at Luca Varani here as well. Varani's defending that inside. He's now sent Way round the outside of turn one. Is Way going to be able to hang it out? He's got to be later on the brakes. Varani can close the door. Way's not right beside him as he should be as they come rushing out of turn two. Unfortunately for Evan Way, he's got Nicholas Westman right behind that as well. So Westman's going to get a piece of this at the same time and want to have a go once more here, and all at the same time. So it's Varani, Way and Westman. This little battle could materialise over the next 3 or 4 laps. It looks like Westman on a 1:34.67 isn't the fastest. Evan Way got the 1:34.61, so we are only talking 6 thousandths of a second. But at the end of the day, it's still time that Evan Way clearly is able to make up here on Nicholas Westman currently at the moment.
Yeah, struggling on occasion, and we'll see if that continues. But some good drives here inside the top 5. I know we've not seen many of these positions change. In fact, nobody inside the top 6 has moved more than 2 places up or down. And nobody inside the top 13 has moved more than 2. So, or more than 3. You know what I mean? So it's really not changing very much up the front of the field. But we do sometimes get this from this league in general. It's there are those races where the midfield battles are the better ones, although I don't think that's going to be true entirely. We're at the halfway mark now, and Lee Aberdeen and Giuseppe Dardone's gap has just been fluctuating around. So there are chances there, and there are here as well. Jerome Lamy is looking to gain some of those places back from his mistake that he made into the penultimate corner not so long ago. And he's looking for another one down into turn 1. McIntyre Jones not giving him a hard time, particularly on this occasion. So Lamy will be into 8th. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a big crash, that, isn't it? A big bit of contact on the wall. He's lost it very early in the corner as well, which is the problem. Yeah, he's found himself with quite a lot of damage there, and that will take a lot of repairing if indeed he does even try to. We do have 3-4 drivers already out of this race, by the way. Alex Hopkins may well be joining them, Patrick Rowlands as well. So we may well have 6 retirements very soon, but every driver who's classified in this race will be scored, or will have scored points, I should say, because 43 started this race. That's exactly how many drivers score points in these races as well. So that is positive for, positive for everybody, as long as they can get within the 90% you need to be classified.
Yeah, I think Alex Hopkins has had a bit of a horrible one. It looks like he may have had a spin, and I think he's, well, yeah, he is. He's just kind of sat down there currently at the moment into turn 10. So I'm not entirely sure how he's managed to get there. He's not making any efforts to move whatsoever, is Mr. Hopkins. So it looks like he's just kind of sat there currently enjoying the view. But Varani is not enjoying the view at the moment of Evan Way. Way's going to nip up the inside. Varani ran a little bit wide out of 2. Is Way going to be able to hang it round the inside? Is Westman going to be able to nip in as well? Surely. Which way's Way going to go? He's going to take the inside line. No, outside of 4, sorry, but he definitely had an opportunity there, didn't he? He looked like he had more of an opportunity than I think he thought. As he's trying to run there, Varani gets a little bit of step on the rear end, another one as well. Way's right up beside him. Westman's going to be sitting there as well, thinking he's going to have a go as they're going on this run into turn 7. Varani's under the pressure here at the moment, and he's definitely being a little bit of a cork in a bottle with the likes of Lamy and Flynn also catching him up as well. Varani's got to go on a defensive here, Ewan, but how is he going to be able to manage to hold these guys off?
Well, it's going to be a very, very tall order, but it's the kind of circuit where you can manage this. It's off the road. Dardone, the leader, Dardone off the road, and it's straight on at turn 10 for some reason. No obvious signs of damage. The Aberdeen was not far away. There was a lapped car involved as well. Now let's see what went on here. down in towards turn 10. He's just pulled off the road all by himself.
That's Lee Aberdeen in front of him. I wondered who the one car was. That's Deodoni. He looks. Oh!
Huge contact. And they must have been damaged then. They must have been damaged. Didn't initially spot that. Apologies. Dardoni, second at the time. And he must realise he's got damage and too much damage to continue on with, clearly. Decides to get out of the way and retire from this race. This is the first straight he will have had to test suspension damage. He realises right here he's got suspension damage and then realises that he's absolutely done with this race, I think.
Yeah, he just goes straight on. That was the end of it, but that was where the contact come from. It was Deodoni and Aberdeen into what is was that turn 5, and I think Deodoni there just basically locks up, and Aberdeen, because they're so close together, ends up going into the back of each other. Bartolotto's just made the move over Morrow there. Chuck Morrow once more is doing a good job. He's up into 16th at the moment here as well. Everway's not giving up on Luca Varani, and neither is Westman, but I think Deodoni made a mistake down into 5, locks up, and Aberdeen just had nowhere to go and nearly comes over the top of him, and that is obviously where the problem lies for Deodoni. He must have just basically had damage, called it a day and said, well, I can't make it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a real shame. I mean, it would have been really hard for him to persist with that, in fact, and if he's not going for the title and he's only going for race wins and results, then there's no point in dragging yourself around with no morale to a 12th place finish or whatever it is. So, or at least that's how he'll be in his mind, I think. Even if I'd like to think I'll continue on, and maybe some others would as well. But and especially if he was in a title fight. But truth is, I don't think he's aiming for that. Just aiming for race wins, and the contact was unfortunate. He'll be frustrated with himself all in all because he can't really blame Lee Aberdeen for anything there. Aberdeen was on his racing line, and he'll have done very well to avoid damage himself, actually, Aberdeen. We'll see about that, of course, but yeah, unfortunately, Dardoni's not got anyone else to blame but himself, because it was a solo incident that had abnormally large consequences for him.
Yeah, definitely did. These guys still fighting it out as well. There's another one down with Stuart Milne. Currently down the order. He's got a few cars locked in around him. Otlover's Putnieks and Kessler. They've not quite given up, and Westman's not giving up either here. He's having a go once more at Evan Way. Way looks like he's dropped back a little bit from Varani. He's about half a second back currently at the moment. Again, we've got this train of cars, and again, we're seeing the same as it goes on as well. It's such a rough track regardless. It's almost like we needed that inside corner to produce overtakes down into what is traditionally turn 10 to basically get rid of it, this fast flowing nature of this circuit, because apart from 5 there isn't really any sharp stops to have a go. You can put it up the inside of one, but if you're in a train like this, Way's going to get a draft from Varani, Westman's going to get a draft off Way, and nobody's going to really be going anywhere currently at the moment. Even Varani might even manage to hold on, which he is doing at the moment.
Yeah, it's not impossible. There's less than half the race remaining now. Well, less than a third indeed. We're in the final third of the race, so it's looking even more possible for him. But in the same way, while laps are being ticked off for Varani, he's getting closer to the end. In the same way, Evan Way is going to be getting that probably wasn't intended. He's going to have more desire to go through. He's going to have, don't call it desperation, because he's not done anything silly by any means, but he will certainly have more desire to go through. There's a dive from Samuel Hermer and Will McIntyre-Jones, who just can't seem to stop getting overtaken at the moment. He let Lamy through not so long ago, and now it's Hermer trying to go through. Not on this occasion, though.
Oh no, Hermer's made a mistake. Williams is going to have to run down into 6. Hermer got a big old slide coming out of turn 5, and Williams has made it through here. So Clark Williams is now battling away, and that was Samuel Hermer behind him. So Williams is now having a go at McIntyre-Jones. The interesting thing about McIntyre-Jones, though, at the moment, even though we're saying about him being overtaken, he's still in the same position he started. He hasn't gained, he hasn't lost, and he's still in exactly the same place. So there we go. McIntyre-Jones, not gone anywhere, but he has been overtaken, which is the strangest thing.
Yeah, but because he's been picking up places from people who've fallen by the wayside, like Dardoni and other people earlier on, and at the start especially, he might have picked up a few places. But in normal racing, when everyone's figured themselves out, he has been overtaken a lot, as we've seen. Or a couple of times, don't want to say loads, because he's still inside the top 10, but he has been overtaken more times than he would like, and maybe that's an idea as to how, because Williams wasn't even that close coming out the final corner there, but McIntyre Jones seemed to get reeled in very quickly. I wonder whether his downforce setting is a little bit too high, and he's being overtaken as a result.
Yeah, Westman battling it out with Lamey. Lamey's just about to go up the inside. Oh! Contact!
Oh, he's in the wall. He'll be in the wall there. I think he'll do well to keep that out of the barrier, Westman, but in some ways it doesn't matter because he's outside the top 10 and he's out the race as well.
Yeah, I think it's contact there, tyre to tyre. Into the wall he goes. Unfortunately for Westman, he's jumped to the pits here on lap 22. And Jerome Lamey will do a good job if he manages to make that through without any damage on that one as well, because it was tyre. I suppose the only good thing was it was tyre to tyre for Lamey, but at the end of the day, it wasn't so good for Westman.
Well, we speak about that being a good idea sometimes, or a good thing sometimes, but also that's where suspension is. It's very exposed in these cars. That's what they get. So you've got a real problem there on occasion if you have wheel-to-wheel contact, but thankfully Lamey seems to be all right. We just went on board with him there, and we saw the suspension is absolutely fine, so he might be able to get on the podium here, and he's driven really well after his incident at the penultimate corner, by the way, as Lamey. Been very impressed with the way he's been able to get up through the field in a way that others just haven't, Evan Way being one of them. Outside line now for him on Luca Varani, and again, he's not gone through. Just not enough conviction, not close enough, not far enough alongside at any moment to make his way through.
Yeah, definitely not here as well. Bartolotta still climbing through. He's now just cleared Christian Glamsey, and he's up 30 places. Whether or not he's going to stay there, because obviously what we spoke about at the beginning, we don't know. But currently he's up 30. I would say doing a stellar job. Should we just call it like that? I think whether or not they're punished or not, penalised, I don't know. But at the end of the day, that's what he's doing. Kessler's having a go at Putnieks here. Unfortunately for Putnieks, he's up, still in the same place. Kessler's up 5 places currently at the moment. So Kessler is doing an absolutely stellar job and is just about to go up the inside of Putnieks at turn 4. Is he going to be able to make it through all the way now? They're going to be running side by side down into 5. I think Putnieks is going to have another go. He's going to try it, not this time doing. Kessler takes his line and is off and through. I think, no, Putnieks has got a tight line. Cut back all the way now on the run down into 6. They're going to try side by side. Are they currently at the moment? They are. Kessler's on the inside, Putnieks on the outside, and Kessler's got to try and come across if he can to block off Putnieks' run. Putnieks is going to have another go. Kessler take the inside line down into turn 10. Force Putnieks on the outside. Kessler's on the right. Putnieks on the left. Once their livery was described as a tablecloth by Mr. Ewan O'Leary, and Putnieks is now going to have the inside, and they've run side by side for pretty much half a lap at the moment.
And this is what Barcelona can produce. It is possible for racing to happen around here, and it's right now at its absolute best between these two. What it has allowed, though, is Mackenzie to just close in as well. John Mackenzie in behind. He'll get the double slipstream now, and the run likely out the final corner as well. Although Putnieks seems to be quite fast in a straight line, Kessler still has the slipstream to overcome that. Mackenzie gets really close, doesn't decide to force it pretty wide, instead breaks early and watches the two in front go toe-to-toe again. It's inside for the second part for Kessler, and he's back inside the top 20. This is exactly what Barcelona can produce when you do get racing kicked off between a couple of drivers.
Yeah, Kessler's now on the right-hand side. Mackenzie's now going to have a go as well at Putnieks once more. Is he going to be able to make it through? Mackenzie's now going to try to run around the outside of turn 5. I'm not sure that's an ideal line. You want to try and cut back if you can. He has. Putnieks now on the run on the right. Mackenzie behind him. Here we go. We're on board with Mackenzie now. Tucking up into turn 6 we go. And Putnieks looks like he might have some straight line speed. I'm wondering if that straight line speed is affecting what he's got in the corners, because he is looking a little bit looser in the corners, but manages to hold on once more from Mackenzie and is now setting about on his way of getting his place back over Kessler in front of him. The top 2 have now dropped out to about a second. That's Tony Jimenez and Lee Aberdeen currently at the moment. Obviously, Deodoni, we saw what happened with them. There was contact. Bartolotta has just cleared Philip Lucas. there as well. So Bertilla is now up 31 places. It seems like Bertilla has had a lot of easy overtakes. I don't know if I'm saying that in a derogatory term or if I'm saying that he just hasn't been defended on, has he? He doesn't look like he's been much defended against.
I'll defend him and say that he's been so much quicker than a lot of those he's been overtaking that there's not really a point to defending from him because he's about to get through anyway. He's so much quicker than most of the drivers we've seen him overtake, but also he's making it look easy at the moment. We've seen time and again that it isn't easy to overtake at this circuit. We've seen that with those guys at the front. I mean, how many laps in a row now of the 3rd to 6th place battle been in the same positions now? I mean, 10 laps or so. Bertilla's not having those problems, and there is a case to be made for getting these moves done efficiently and quickly, because when you're stuck behind someone, they start to learn your patterns and they start to defend in those patterns as a result of that, and you get a built-up kind of knowledge of what they're going to do. When you cruise up to the back of someone and you strike with your first attempt, then you're away almost before they can even figure out what on earth you're doing. So it is the better way to do it, really, to strike quickly and just get on with it and move through. I know it's not that easy at the front especially, but Bertilla's made an absolute great job of this, and he's up to 12. Here's the position for 3rd again. Varani is hanging on for dear life, but Evan Way is giving it his best go so far. Up on the curve through turn 2, and now Jerome Lamy might try and get both of them into turn 4 here.
Yeah, Lamy's on the inside, Way's on the outside now. He's going to have Lamy. Well, Way is basically, he's just lost if he can't get in. He's got to at least try to run the outside for 5. Varani drifts wide, blocks off Way. That's going to allow Lamy to come through as well. And Lamy's trying to go around the outside of Evan Way round turn 5 here once more, and these guys having an absolute stellar battle as we can disappear off behind the trees. Not an ideal view there, I'm not going to lie, apology. And Evan Way does manage to hold on, Varani manages to hold on, and Lamy manages to hold on. But behind that we got Andy Flint, who's about half a second back currently as well, watching this battle unfold. So Luca Varani is kind of hanging on, I want to say by the skin of his teeth, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing him justice there, to be honest. I'm sorry, Luca. I love you, really. But he is holding on by the skin of his teeth. And he reminds me of a rock climber on the edge of a mountain with fingertips just there hanging. He's just done such... I'm probably doing him complete injustice, and I'm sorry. But I think he is hanging on, isn't he? I think that's the only word for it.
Depends if you look at it that way or whether you look at it as good defending, really, for this 3rd position. You could say, well, he's been at the front this entire time. He's not let anyone past him at any point. He hasn't had to re-overtake anyone. And he's still in this podium place, and he deserves to be there. So it really depends which way you look at it, to be honest. And either, I think, is valid enough. He's going to hold on to 3rd in towards turn 1 this time. A lot less of a palaver about this one. 4 laps to go, though, including the one that we're... Oh, no! He might have just thrown it all away at the end here. Evan Way's never had a better opportunity to go into 3rd, and he knows it. Varani tried to regain the places. Lamy very nearly found himself off the road entirely. That was dramatic. Varani has lost 3rd finally.
Yeah, Way, the thing is with Way, he didn't close his nose off. Varani's run wide again. Lamy's now having another go. And Varani, unfortunately, has gone down 2 places. It could be another one with Andy Flint behind him. And in one space of half a lap, Varani has gone from the podium down to 5th place. He made one mistake. He locked up, spun up the back stepped up. And unfortunately for him, fortunately for Evan Way, he's finally cleared him. Lamy took the opportunity as well, and now for Varani, he's got Andy Flint having a go at him here, Ewan, as well. So if Varani, if he's got tyre issues or if he's cooked something doing that, he could be under pressure from Flint. Flint's got to take the opportunity, if he can, to have a go at Varani, because clearly Varani is struggling with something.
He did have the look of a driver who had overheated his tyres there slightly, Varani, and that was just the case of the small mistake he made through turn 3 there, and that overheats the rear tyres a little bit. Then he dived in desperation at turn 4, locked up the fronts, and so at that point all 4 corners are just overheating, and he'll be in trouble as a result. Williams gets through on McIntyre Jones, by the way, for 7th place, so Will McIntyre Jones is still where he started this race, even though he's only been overtaken by everybody. but still up there. That's no slight on him at all. It's just he's done well to stay where he is, but it's just been overtaken a lot as well. But staying out of trouble all the same. But Andy Flint is really applying the pressure to Varani now. Those tyres are gone. They're overheating, and he's struggling to stay on the road. Varani was really deep into turn 5 last lap as well, and that was very nearly wide.
Yeah, it was coming out of 5, round through 6 as well. It looks right. Varani's cooked it. It looks like he's cooked it. Come on, Flint has got to look and see. Varani is that gazelle. He's injured. He's damaged. Flint is the lion. Can he make it through once more? Can he take his prey and take that position away? Will Varani end up in 6th? Could he end up in 7th with Williams as well? He's got 2 laps to hang on here. And Varani again has got to go on the defensive. He's got to try and stop Flint once more, and it's looking tough in that F3 that looks like he has cooked his tyres. They're getting hot. They're starting to go a little bit off the boil here as well, and Flint has got to have this go once more. Varani has got to follow Lamy across the track, I think, to be able to hang on here. Flint's going to have a go. Is he going to make the move down into turn 1? They're on lap 29. We've got 1 more to go. Williams is behind that, and McIntyre Jones, who we've said has already lost positions. Bartolotta is up into 11th, 32 places there as well, so well played to Bartolotta. And it looks like Garrett Spence has been off track once more, but Varani's situation started when he overcooked it coming out of the turn, didn't he? And then unfortunately, he's just slid down the order. He does look like he's struggling. He does look like Flint could possibly make that move if he probably got a little bit closer out of certain points as well. Here, Varani seems to be struggling a lot through turn 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, and when you're on a circuit like this, at a pace like this, it's difficult to get those tyres back under control again. And in some ways, you'd have to go so slowly to get them back under control that with about 4 laps to go, as they were at the time, it's almost worth just trying to get through it. It's not going to be easy by any means, but what choice does Varani have? He's either got to try and continue on in the way that he is, or lose a top 5, and he's already lost a fair amount of points in this championship here this season. I know he's only been at 1 race, but that was a 3rd place. He's already losing points in this race, is more to the point. And he's just got to limit that the best he can. He knows that this is not going to be a standout season result for him. He might well have known that going into this. He might well not be a fan of this circuit, but he certainly won't be after this. He's going to try and hold on to that top 5, and I think he might have the good chance to do it as we go on to the final lap.
Yeah, final lap of the race here. Flint goes on the defensive. He's got Williams battling away. Williams is going to try and go around the outside. Clark Williams is looking racy. He's got the inside for the exit of 2. Flint's going to have the inside for 3 here as well, and that is going to give Varani the biggest breather he has ever had here. He is literally a scuba diver underwater at the moment, just got the biggest gulp of oxygen he could possibly have, because now he's got so much more time over him. He might just hang on. In the place behind that is McIntyre Jones. There's just nowhere to go for these guys, and unfortunately for McIntyre Jones, he's just got to sit there once more and wait patiently to see if he can get his opportunity. But Flint is now the guy who's hanging on. He's gone from the aggressor to the hanger-oner.
Yeah, the hanger-oner.
I don't even know if that's a thing, but it sounds right.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds fine. Yeah, that was very close between McIntyre Jones and Williams there, though, as he flew into turn 7 there to McIntyre Jones. But that's all right now. They've sorted it out. As a little bit further up, Lee Aberdeen is just coming up towards the final corner. Yeah,
he's going to go round. He's going to take that victory here as well. Lee Aberdeen, we haven't really seen much of him since they had only and him come contact as well. The fact that he's finished the race is impressive, and has he got straight steering? He's still got straight steering as Aberdeen. So Lee Aberdeen comes across the line and takes the victory. Tony Jimenez as well. Evan Way behind that with Jerome Lamy. They're all coming through now. There they all are. Lamy goes through. Varani's going to hang on from Flint. Williams as well once more. Reed Dennis is down in 23rd at the moment. He is still battling it out here again. And that is Vyacheslav Podopenko, of course, in front of him here at the moment as well. So are these guys going to be able to swap places? Dennis looks like he was almost lost it there. didn't there, and Potapenko, I think, is going to come across the line and take that place into 22nd. So stellar job from them guys. Further back, Michael LeMay and Nick Carty are coming over the line here, and Michael LeMay does not get through on Nick Carty, and that's 27th place for him. Oreo and Arturo Mayorga, they're still battling it out as they're on the run down to the line as well. Oreo is not again. Looks like he's not going to be able to make a space. So everybody who was close going into the last corner didn't, unfortunately, make up their gains there as well. So it's, Patrick Rowlands looks like he's going to be the last man to cross the line. There is a few in the middle of that. Garrett Spence, Jakub Oleswinski, and Maximilian Gerhardt. Gerhardt goes into the pits there. So there we go. Gerber into the pits. Well, I think we can safely say that the race turned out better than what obviously the initial anticipation was, but it still at points got that very samey feel with it at Catalunya. But then we saw obviously the side-by-side there with Putnieks having a good old side-by-side battle. So it can produce racing, can't it, this circuit?
Yeah, it can. I think this is one of the better examples of it as well for this race, particularly. It was a very good one for the more minor positions. Of course, the race win was settled fairly earlier, as fair amount of time ago, as Dardoni unfortunately made that mistake. Aberdeen got the lead and just got enough of a margin over Jimenez to win that race in the end. But the fight for third was very, very exciting indeed. Unfortunately, Verani couldn't hold on, but at least he's fifth, and that means he's had a third and a fifth so far, and with 2 drop scores over the course of the season, he'll be right up there like he was last season.
Yeah, Lee Aberdeen is your winner. Jimenez in second. And Way does finally get past Verani, but it was on Verani's own doing. Jermaine Lamy in fourth. Luca Verani in fifth. Andy Flint hung on from Clark Williams at the end there for sixth. Williams in seventh. McIntyre Jones, who only seemed to be overtaken, but yet still, I think, managed to finish in exactly the same position he started in. We're not quite sure how that one happened. Samuel Hermer in ninth, Robert Ridgway 10th, Max Bartolotto in 11th, Pedro Suarez 12th, Philip Lucas in 13th, Christian Glamsita 14th, and Chuck Morrow is down in 15th. Then beyond that, we've got Dennis Cornu 16th, Stuart Milne 17th, Marek Otlovs 18th, Jack Willems 19th, Marcello Kessler 20th, Marcis Putnieks 21st, Vyacheslav Potapenko in 22nd, Reed Dennis 23rd, John McKenzie 24th, and Reno Scattini in 25th. Nick Carty in 26th, Michael LeMay 27th, Louis Gregg 28th, Paolo Brehm in 29th, Arturo Mayorga in 30th, Dorian Oreo 31st, Jakub Oleswinski 32nd, Garrett Spence, who looked like he just had an absolutely horrendous race, Maximilian Gerhardt, Patrick Rowlands, of course, another man that ended up having a bit of a horrible evening, Nicholas Westman in 36th, Koji Ito 37th, Giuseppe Deodoni, who we saw had contacted and then damaged, Alex Hopkins in 39th, Ryan Berry, and then Leonard Cherry off as well. So, another interesting evening of racing, I think. That's really all we can kind of say about this. You know, there was battles, there was offs, there was incidents, there was accidents, and all in all, it wasn't a bad race, but it's probably not one of the best we've seen from these guys.
Well, I think it wasn't bad at all, actually, for Catalunya especially. Maybe I set my expectations low for this circuit, but I enjoyed that race. It was very good, actually. The battle for third was what made it especially. I know we didn't have a battle for the win, but we don't always in this league, and that's just racing sometimes. If the winner is better than the rest, then they're not going to have to fight anyone, and that's the bottom line of it, really. But the battles further back were good. We're still early on in this season, and we're just getting going, really. We've still not fallen into a recognisable pattern. As we got towards the end of last season, we knew who the main contenders were. We knew who to look out for. We're still not at that stage yet with this season.
Yeah, definitely in there as well. But going forward, it's going to be an interesting one. Thank you so much, AI Racing as well. Scudiera Hydroforce Racing Forces Formula Sim Racing Team by iRace. And then Alex there as well, welcoming to you. Also, just Hydroforce Racing Forces supporter. So, but let's see how they go once more as another interesting race comes to an end, and one that I think can safely say it was good. It was good. Was it a classic? Probably not, but who knows? Next week we go on to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park there as well. But stay tuned. Later on, we've got a Radical Sim Racing SR10 Americas from the Nordschleife. So that should be a good one. Okay, your final word on the evening's racing. What do we reckon?
Yeah, I thought it was a decent race for Catalunya, as we know, not the best circuit for racing, but good one for driving on. And we got our fair share of action here today. Looking forward to Mosport next week, if that is indeed where we're headed to, because we always have good racing around there. One of my favourites, I've got to say. And these cars are going to get such a massive slipstream on the back straight. It won't be one to be missed.
Yeah, definitely as well. So thank you so much again for joining us, guys. But for now, from myself and Mr. O'Leary up in the booth, it's time for us to say once more, have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.